Hi everyone. So last weekend, I kind of had a break from my job. We were kind of in between different tasks, and I really had the weekend off. And I wanted to use that as an opportunity to take the weekend off of all computer science, including my own research into neural networks for my computer games. And make a long story short, I had made it a goal to go a whole weekend without doing anything with computer science, and I failed miserably. I only went a little bit more than 8 hours. I went to sleep for 8 hours, and then went a few more hours, and that was the extent of the break. And I have been trying to take this break for many, many years. I have a hard time taking any sort of break from doing any sort of science at all. So one of my favorite things to do in my car is to try to get the best gas mileage from my car. It's called hypermiling. And oftentimes when I'm hypermiling, I'm thinking about, how to negotiate various curves and how to go around hills and all that, and thinking about traffic, and if I can adjust the time of my trip to check the weather forecast for the wind and all that. And it really eats at my mental capacity. I'm using up all of my mental energy on this instead of doing something else that I like. I find that I have a hard time relaxing. I go home and try to go to sleep, and I beat myself up over how I drove, or how I handled various other events. I talked about in my last video how I gave myself a hard time with how and when to exchange currency when I was traveling, and it really destroyed my vacation. I'm going to try very hard not to let that happen when I go to Taiwan next month. But my mind is always thinking numbers and science, and I just find it very hard to relax. And I'm hoping over Thanksgiving, I'm hoping to at least go for one night, just one night, without science. And I'm hoping to document what happens as I go about it, because I find I have a hard time living of enjoying the moments as they come. I only enjoy moments in retrospect, and it kind of reminds me of how I used to hate my parents, especially my mom. She had this annoying habit of always making commentary about things that didn't even bother her. So I used to have this habit of I eat a lot of baking chocolate, as you've probably seen from previous videos. This is what it looks like. And sometimes I'll be busy with something. Again, back to the science. I'm really busy with the computer programs. I'm really busy with astronomy or something like that. And I'll have a box of chocolate already open. I don't want to go look for it, so open another box, and then another. And by the time I get to 3, usually I won't have trouble finding at least one of them. And she gets very annoyed of having 2 or 3 boxes open. I mean, it's not because we don't have a whole lot of space around the house or anything. It's not like any of it's going to go bad. It's not like I waste any of it. I mean, she just gets annoyed by it because of habit almost. But what she doesn't realize is that I have better things to do than to look for a bar of chocolate that's going to turn itself in anytime anyway. And she would comment about that. She would get very worried about me not doing my laundry, and she would see 2 pieces of laundry and go do them, and which is fine with me. If she insists on doing laundry, it's fine with me. But then she would complain that I never do my laundry. It was really funny because when I was a teenager, I kind of accepted that, but then I moved out of my parents' home, and I never had problems with doing laundry. But I would go home for 2 days and just maybe had a different schedule for doing laundry as my mom, and she would get anxious about laundry, and she would do it, and then she would complain. And I asked her, has it ever dawned on you? And anyways, my battery died. So I was talking about how my mom would get anxious about me not doing the laundry, and after I had moved back, I had moved out of my parents' home when I came back for 2 days. And my mom would get anxious about laundry. I think she has a little OCD. She sees 1 piece of laundry and she needs to run the machine just for 1 piece. And I love the environment too much to do that. I love other things too much to waste time on one piece of laundry when I'm going to generate more. And it's fine. I have an attitude of live and let live. If she wants to waste her water or electricity, yeah, I'll certainly feel bad about it, but I'll let her learn her lesson. Unfortunately, she's a little bit too wealthy to worry about running an extra cycle of laundry sometimes, which I feel is a little bit of a curse. But whatever the case is, she'll wash one piece of laundry. And then she'll complain that I never do my laundry. And quite frankly, when I was living on my own, I literally could not afford to do one piece of laundry. So I never had the habit of even if I wanted to, even if I was addicted to it, I literally could not afford it when I was living outside of my parents' home, which is why I did not have a habit of doing it. But she does. And then she complains about it. And she complains about how I never do my laundry. And I guess it never dawned on her that I lived outside the home for 3 years, how I would ever get anything done in 3 years if I've never done laundry. I would definitely gotten kicked out of school easily. I would never have had a girlfriend, and a lot of other things would never have happened, right? And it never dawned on her to think about that. All she thinks about is, at the moment, something is bothering her, and of course, she never thought about how if I did one piece of laundry at a time and I was living on my own, I would have gone broke and had to move back to my parents' home. Okay. I recently learned about intermittent fasting. And I would go home and my mom would prepare something, a family meal, and she knows about the ingredients that I avoid, and that's good. And then I would, because I'm intermittent fasting, I would binge during the time I would be allowed to eat, right? And then later that day, when I'm in my fasting interval, she'll be like, come on, you liked it so much. And she would force me to explain myself over and over and over again. Like, I don't know how many times I had to teach her about intermittent fasting and why I have to do what I do. I've never had this problem with anybody else. Like, people have an attitude of live and let live. I go to the office. If somebody prefers something that is compatible with my diet, and I eat it really fast because I have this 8-hour window where I eat during the day, and I don't eat for the other 16 hours, people don't feel an urge to ask why. But my parents do, and my mom does especially, and then she refuses to remember the explanation. And I think she's just really fascinated with the topic, and she wants to generate conversation even when there doesn't have to be one to begin with. And I think my mom and I both share this kind of personality. For her, it's the stupid discussions. For me, it's writing computer games, it's viewing the night sky, it's thinking about physics, how I'm driving my car, and unfortunately, for both of us, it gets in our way. And hopefully I'll be taking a break from all this soon, and I'll make a documentary about how it goes. Although I hope I don't get very distracted about talking to my camera, because if that becomes a new one, then I'll have to deal with that too. Thanks for watching.